No one could have predicted this, that Chevrolet would birth a 670 horsepower 5.5-liter V8 that goes hard all the way to 8,600 RPM. Almost as surprising, roughly 20 years after Chevy and Porsche launched the Z06 and GT3 as distinct models to appeal to hardcore buyers of Corvettes and 911s, the latest versions are among the last keepers of the screaming, naturally aspirated flame. We don't think there are two other cars that could do 850 miles this comfortably. Really, the only thing that got old was excessive road noise, and then eviscerate everything else on track. These are two of the most special and involving sports cars on the market, but of course we're going to pick a winner. At second place we have the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. If we're talking lap times, the Z06 is the winner, a full 2 seconds ahead at Virginia International Raceway in our Lightning Lap Crucible. It's in 5th place on the all-time Lightning Lap leaderboard at a price well under half of everything above it. This latest Z06 is still a value, though Chevy has clearly been studying Porsche's pricing practices. The Z06 starts at $109,295, but Chevrolet charges GT3 money for a Z06 with all the fixings, including the top 3 LZ interior, $13,850. The unpainted carbon fiber aerodynamic package, $10,495, exposed carbon fiber wheels, $11,995, and the Z07 performance package with carbon ceramic rotors, $8,995. But Porsche has quietly raised the GT3's price by nearly $24,000 to $185,850 since its 2022 launch, as that's what dealers were doing anyway. The Corvette's launch control brings the revs up to 4,500 RPM before letting loose, while the lower torque 911 needs 6,300 RPM. Both cars have an effective but undramatic clutch slipping launch and leap to 30 miles per hour in 1.1 seconds, a haste that typically requires all-wheel drive. The Z06 reaches 60 miles per hour 0.2 seconds quicker and passes through the quarter mile 0.3 seconds sooner. By 140 miles per hour, the Z06 is 1.4 seconds ahead, but an upshift into the tall 5th gear allows the GT3 to reel it back in, and the gap closes to a mere 0.2 seconds at 160 miles per hour. With higher prices come higher expectations, and with a sticker that's more than $100,000 above a base Corvette's, our Z06 didn't quite meet them. The materials look great, especially the beautiful carbon fiber weave, but even a cursory examination of the Vette's exterior panel gaps, paint quality, including orange peel, and interior assembly tightness shows that it lacks the meticulous build quality of the GT3. To be fair, Chevy did not make things easy on itself with all the chopped exterior styling elements and terraced, layered stacks of different materials and various outcroppings in the cabin. Although the Z06 comes up just short of the GT3 in our scoring, it's a remarkable achievement and a winner in just about any other setting. The screaming V8 has a far angrier start than the GT3's engine, as if each firing is an opportunity to step onto a stage, do a twirl, and take a well-deserved bow. At first place we have the 911 GT3. When you jump from the Z06 to the GT3, the first thing you notice is the visibility. It's no exaggeration that the field of view in the Porsche feels 20% more expansive. On narrow, tree-lined roads, that makes for a major confidence boost. You also sit much lower in the fixed-back carbon fiber buckets, a $5,900 option, which manage to be more comfortable than the Z06 optional competition seats, with wraparound support at the shoulder level that's missing in the Corvette. Just be sure to get both cheeks over the pointy outside edge before falling into the seat. Thanks to the classic bubble roofline, the 911 has plenty of headroom for a helmet. Meanwhile, in the Corvette, a taller driver's brain bucket bangs into the headliner. On track, not having to brace yourself makes left foot braking far easier. While the Z06 V8 is delightfully belligerent, it's isolated from the chassis, whereas the GT3's flat six is hardwired to the experience. It buzzes the seat at its 800 RPM idle, something Porsche seemingly does for a little extra drama. Adaptive engine mounts were removed in the 992 generation GT3 for an 8-pound weight savings, so relaxing those is no longer an option. At 1,300 RPM, the power plant resonates through the entire structure like a wet dog shaking, which we'd find wholly unacceptable in a car that costs a quarter as much as the GT3 but is appropriate here. and the engine never recedes into the background. At 80 miles per hour, it's turning 3,300 RPM, while the Z06 is at 1,800 RPM. Nevertheless, the Porsche is the clear fuel economy champ, better on our highway and non-highway legs, and ending with a 17 miles per gallon average. Not that it matters much when the flat six sings an addictive, searing 101 decibel wail to 9,000 RPM. Both engines have layers of character. Our favorite attributes are the throat-clearing cackles when lifting off the throttle in the Z06 and the warbles that accompany aggressive upshifts in the GT3. They hang in the air like audible smoke rings, reverberating through the car. While the engines are a magnificent centerpiece, both chassis are on the same plane. The 911 steering is as sharp-edged as the flat six, with immediate on-center action and a rear end that's more playful at the limit. The GT3 shrinks when driven hard, and euphoria sets in at about 8/10. The Corvette steering has a bit more effort on center, which aids stability on long highway commutes, but track mode is over-the-top heavy. Both cars suffer a similar amount of tramlining, but it wasn't as bad as we expected given the wide tires and aggressive alignment. The GT3's structure feels as stiff as granite, while you can sometimes hear the Z06 roof panel seals creaking. But the Corvette has the better ride. The GT3's softest setting is akin to the Z06 Sport mode. Most other Porsches live in the glow of this car's brilliance. Driving a GT3 will haunt your daydreams and spoil the experience of nearly every other performance car. Which is to say, mission accomplished.